All right. Where were we? Treat slate. Indeed. What's up, Ria? How you doing? I see, I see. What's up, Muffin? Osteoporosis project, true. What's up, Ideal? I am hanging in there. Started my work week once again. I only had a 2-day weekend instead of 3 because my schedule was shifted. So I'm like, I am very tired. Uh, do I get compensated for it? Not really. I don't think so. I don't know how I would get compensated for it. Because it's the same amount of hours. It's just shifted back a day. Yeah, it's because I don't know. Well, it's because the other guy who works the same position I do was on vacation, so my schedule had to change slightly. And now that he's back, my schedule has changed again. So it's whatever. I don't get it, but the guy who's managing our kitchen low key not doing the best job currently. Like he's taken 2 vacations in the last month despite us basically being underwater in terms of productivity. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even when he was here, he literally wouldn't teach me anything anyway, so whatever, man. Whatever. Yeah. I'm not the only person suffering as a result of that. Pretty much everyone in the kitchen is worse off for that. Thankfully, like, my position after working a few months now is honestly pretty easy. Like, mentally at least. Physically, it's still a really hard job, and I wish I could ask for more help, but without him there, there's literally no people to help because everyone's stretched really thin as it is. Oh well. That is not my job, Muffin. I'm pretty sure my job is to try not to blow up the kitchen challenge. What difficulty? I mean, it's pretty easy. But, I mean, part of my job is using, like, a pressure cooker, like a pressure fry cooker. So, like, it's safe, but it's also the possibility always exists. My bad. Sorry, I chose the difficulty in training instead of blowing up. Is this an Overdrive reference? Oh man. I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of struggling with getting myself to work on the project lately. Not that I don't want to do the project, it's just my energy levels have been completely out of whack in the last few weeks. Yeah. It's just really annoying because, like, at what point do I just, like, have to, like, give up or something if I just can't ever seem to find my energy anymore? Because I feel like I've been having more and more issues with just not, like, being able to do the things I want to do on my off days from work. I don't know what to do about that. I think it just doesn't help that, like, I'm working long hours on each shift that I work. Maybe I just can't really do this type of job at this amount of hours, you know what I mean? Like, if it was like a desk job, I think that would be a little easier. It'd definitely be easier physically. Mentally, obviously, probably not as easy, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I think if I'm forced to work 40 hours a week, probably would just be better to do 5/8. At least now that I've experienced doing. I mean, it's supposed to be 4/10s. It's really closer to 4/11s. That's also been the problem. Yeah, it just leaves me no time to do much of anything after work. Like, when it's just 8 hours, it's not nearly as bad because, like, it's one of those things where just, like, there's just more time to rest and to do things, like, both. Um, I don't know. Maybe I just need to say something about it. The problem is that my position specifically is kind of inflexible in that regard, where it's like I would either have to work like 42 hours or I'd only work like 30 something hours. It's kind of difficult to explain because I don't want to say too much about the position, but like essentially I'm opening and closing the position every time I work it. So it's like the only way to actually do that is to be there for 10 to 11 hours. Obviously, this could be solved by just hiring another person to offload some of the work, but it doesn't seem like that's happening. So, yeah, I don't know. I might just have to see how things go and just see if maybe I just have to end up working one less shift and then just finding another way to make more money, or just cut my expenses even more to offset that loss of income, you know? Because I hardly make anything from this. I make almost nothing from Twitch. I don't make anything from like YouTube or anything. I don't think I even have an AdSense account on YouTube. So, I don't know, man. That's where I'm at. Yeah. I mean, the thing is that things really aren't tight for us right now, but that's only just because we aren't heavy spenders in the first place. Like, probably the biggest expense we have consistently is, like, just the essentials, obviously, like food, rent, and all that. But I mean, aside from that, the only, like, big unnecessary spend is probably, like, takeout, like restaurant food. That's more my fault. But, yeah, I mean, aside from that, we don't really spend our money much. So, like, maybe... Maybe I could do it, but, like, that's... I don't want to do that without obviously consulting my girlfriend first, but more importantly, like, just figuring out if that's actually okay. Like, if that's a sound decision to make. Just because, like, I'm tired, man. I'm just so tired. And also, the thing I also have to think about is, like, I think the problem also is that I have to work a certain amount of hours at my job to get benefits. I think the absolute minimum I can do is like 36 hours. So, like, I don't even know if that's possible anyways. Yeah, but that's not unique at all in this country. In fact, most places, I'm pretty sure you have to be at least 40 to qualify. I don't know. It might just have to be something I talk about. Maybe instead of like, how do I say it? Maybe instead of just, asking for one less shift, maybe I just suck it up and just come in like an hour later or leave an hour earlier, even though most of the time I'm cutting it close when I do stuff like that. Or like I'm cutting it close with the regular shift anyway. Like, so I feel like something would have to suffer as a result. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I don't know, in reality, if there's anything. I'm not gonna get fired for it. I think it's just the issue of, like, they want me to cook foods at, like, just a wide enough time range where, like, I don't know how much I really can negotiate without being like, you guys need to help me, or else that's not possible. Because, like, if I came in an hour later, that means I would need at least one or two things done for me by the time I'm there. Or else everything is just going to be late the entire day. Again, the problem is that the manager is just constantly on vacation and everyone else in the kitchen has enough of a workload where I can't ask for help without them falling behind on whatever task they're working on for the day. So it's just kind of like we basically all have just enough to do that we can do on our own, that helping anyone else makes it so that something's not going to get done. And also, by the way, I say like things get done. In reality, the absolute bare minimum is being done. There's a lot of things that don't end up getting done, but aren't like literally like they're important, but they're not as important to be done every single day, I guess. I think right now, me and a few coworkers, like we actually talked about it today. We're just gonna wait and see what happens when he comes back from the vacation this week. Because this isn't a new problem, and it's one that the person in charge is aware of. Like, the person above them is aware. So I feel like for now, I just kind of have to bide my time until we see he does better or he doesn't do better in the next few weeks. I think it's just one of those things where he's been talked to, but he's also still relatively new as a manager. So they're trying to see if he can, like, step up before just getting rid of him or reprimanding him. I think the issue, from what I heard, is that he used to manage, like, a bigger crew. And so he's more used to the managing style of, like, delegating tasks rather than being a micromanager. But our team is really small, and he kind of needs to be more of a micromanager to, like, have things run smoothly day to day. There just isn't enough people to delegate tasks for him to just be more of like a broad manager rather than a micromanager. Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. Like, because the team's so small, he has to do more of like the menial tasks rather than focusing on actual manager duties, like making sure everything's in stock, making sure sales are looking good or whatever. Like, he's kind of forced to be a chef for like half his day, and as a result, I think that has been like something he's not really been able to handle nearly as well. But it's like, I don't know, man. I think the problem is that he also just doesn't want to ask for help when he needs it. And that's I don't know. He definitely could delegate some of the tasks. But yeah, I mean, he's also not trained any of the people. I've never seen him personally train people for more than like a task or two at a time. Like in my case, the only times I got training from him was literally just me being like, I literally don't know what to do. You need to show me what to do. And then he'd be like, okay, do this. Yeah. I don't think that it's that he has no training. I think it's just he isn't accustomed to this kind of environment where he has to be more hands-on as a manager rather than hands-off. Because I know at other places I've worked at, managers can either be really hands-off or really hands-on. Yeah. I mean, it's possible he's just really burned out and or doesn't care. But it's just worrying because we're getting relatively close to the busiest time of year for a lot of businesses, including our own. And if the kitchen is running as poorly as it is now in like 2 months, we are gonna get killed. And we're probably gonna have people just quit. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, that happened at my last job where I ended up this is really funny. At my last job, despite only being there like a year and a half or something, I ended up as technically the most senior employee there, including the manager and the owners. Just because literally everyone left at some point. Yeah. But I didn't want any kind of like leading role or anything like that. That's not what I'm looking for. And also that place was awful in so many different ways. Yeah. No, dude, the people I was working with, when I told them I found a new job, they were happy for me. They were like, dude, get out of here. Like, obviously they were sad because, like, you know, losing someone who's actually competent at their job sucks, but, like, at the same time, it was bad enough where they were like, that's, yeah. Like, the job just sucked enough where someone leaving was good. Like, good for them, anyway. Yeah. Honestly, I stayed at that job way too long, but it was also kind of like hard to find something better. Yeah, that's insane. That sounds like a very healthy working environment that they are doing very well. Yeah. I mean, the last place I worked at was like a food place. I could always go back and just visit if I really wanted to, but I literally I feel so little desire to want to go back there, even just to say hi or see if anyone is still working there. There's honestly a pretty good chance that none of the people I worked with are even there anymore at this point, considering how much everyone wanted to leave. I mean, one good thing I'll say about the place is they did actually have good food. It's just terribly run. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of places don't even have good food and they're terribly run. So... And usually, it being terribly run is why the food is terrible. But our food was actually good in spite of the terrible management. I kind of feel like that at my current job, too. Like, I think the food we make is actually really good. But, like, I feel like it could also be better if we weren't so stressed while making it. Because when you start stressing, you make mistakes, and then when you make mistakes, food comes out worse. And there's definitely been batches of food that I've made where the quality was not as good, and I'm like, I feel bad for serving this. Like, one of my least favorite things to do is serve food that I would not eat myself. I try my best, even though I don't really care that much about work in general. One thing I do care about is at least serving out food that, like, I would be happy eating, you know? Again, feels kind of like a bare minimum, but there's a surprising amount of people that won't even do that. You would be shocked. Yeah. Well, you gotta think about it like, what if I was served this? Would I eat it? And if the answer is no, then I shouldn't be serving it like that. And I do think among the people in the kitchen, my food quality is actually pretty up there. Like I consistently make the food as best as I reasonably can with the little training I've gotten. I kind of just had to learn on my own for a lot of things. Yeah. Deep slate, coal check. Okay. Let's see. I only have one piece of my inventory right now, and then uh we're getting close to an entire row. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8 stacks. But yeah, it definitely doesn't feel sustainable ideal. Yep. Same amount of deep slate emerald though. Deep. Oh my god, I can't speak. Deep slate emerald ore. Mainly just because I haven't been mining in the mountain. I'm not gonna lie though, I can't really think of it. Maybe I'm just unlucky, but I can't think of a single place I've worked at where like things weren't at least a little bit chaotic management wise. I think I've only actually worked at one place where it wasn't like that, but I also hated that job for so many other reasons that it didn't matter. Oh well. I think I just don't like working to survive. It's not really my thing. I mean, one thing a coworker did say to me last week that I really should take to heart more is like just not stress out about everything at the job. Like if there's things that end up on like not finished, just gotta leave it be sometimes. It's just I hate having unfinished work. It really bugs me, but at the same time, like, yeah, I'm just gonna end up stressing and just making things worse for myself if I uh focus too hard on that kind of thing. It's just more annoying when I just can't do my job because of things that I have no control over. And then it's like, well, I literally could do this, but I just can't because we're out of something or equipment isn't working or just whatever reason, or just like I'm tired, you know? I'm too exhausted to make this. Yeah. I mean, frankly, I'm pretty sure the position they have me working is meant to be worked by two people. Yeah. Yeah, I need to scale back how much effort I'm putting into my job, I think. Especially how much physical effort I'm putting into it. Yeah. I feel like on some level, I'm starting to reach that point. That's probably been why I've hardly been able to do streams on my off days, despite having the time to do so. I'm basically just in recovery mode my entire work weekend. Yeah. And that's the thing too, like technically I'm supposed to have breaks, but I'm also responsible for actually taking them. So if I don't end up taking them, then that's like I don't get compensated for that. Yeah. Like in my entire shift I'm supposed to have an hour's worth of not working time. But in reality, I just only ever take my lunch, and that's it. And that's a half-hour lunch. So, I don't know. Maybe I just need to start taking my breaks, even if I have a lot to do. I think the problem I have is just my position's also a little time sensitive. So it's just hard to... Oh, there's a lot of creepers here. So it's just hard to find that balance as well, where I can, like, get everything out that I need to without it being out late or whatever. Would you say it's worth to take, like, 1 or 2 days of full break and see how it ends up? What do you mean? Oh, you mean at work? Yeah. I think the problem I have is I also don't know when I should be taking them because there's been times where I've taken my breaks and I literally feel worse after that. I think the problem is that, at least in my opinion, 15 minutes feels too short of a break. Yeah. I honestly... Uh, I want to just have all my breaks be at the same time. I think that would probably be better. But the issue with that is that I think the only way for me to be able to do that is to take it literally right after I make a batch of food. But like I have to make sure that I have nothing that I need to do right after that. It's just most days I don't think that's really possible. So I don't know, man. But that also could just be in my head. Maybe I just feel that way. Maybe I'm just actually working too hard. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, is that I have a bit of a problem where I just kind of like leaving things unfinished really annoys me. Leaving things dirty really annoys me. But like those are the easiest places to cut corners or like to save myself time. I don't know. I just need to find a way to speed up the process of everything, but I'm just unsure how. I've pretty much gotten, like, the main part of my job, the actual making of the food, down. Aside from a few things. But I've got most of that down to where I can do that as fast as I can. But there's just a lot of other things that are really hard. And also, like, there's just things I can't do until very late into my day. Like, I can't close down certain machines, or I can't stop making food until a certain time. And that's the things where I'm like, that would save me the most time if I could turn that stuff off earlier, or if I could not have to, like, clean them deeply every single time. I don't know. I think I am probably putting too much on my own plate, but I also just don't really know where I could actually save myself time. Because it's not like I don't try to save myself time. I just don't know what's worth it and what isn't, I guess. And the problem is that aside from like my manager, there's not really anyone else in the kitchen that would actually know what to do in my position specifically. Try and make a priority thing in my head. Yeah, I don't think I would. I just would probably need to make sure that people know that I'm doing that. Because I think it would be weird where most people see that I don't take my breaks, and then all of a sudden I'm taking hour-long breaks every single day. It definitely would be a shift. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, I've told a few of my coworkers that I just don't take my breaks. I think the problem is that I'm not alone in that. So it's not like I'm the only one doing that, which is also terrible to realize that. I definitely can feel the burnout in the kitchen some days. Like today felt like everyone was just out of it. Yeah. It's just weird because like some days at this job are actually really easy. And then some days at this job are just really hard. And it's really just you just don't really know until you come in what kind of day it's gonna be. Yeah. Honestly, I think I really should just start forcing myself to take the breaks no matter what. And then maybe also just forcing myself to leave at the time I'm supposed to leave no matter what. The only issue with that is that there's just some things that I literally can't just not do. But there's probably other things that I could get away with not doing if I so chose. It's just that I'm not really the type of guy to, like, actively try to push those limits. I do want my job to be as easy as possible, but I also want to do my job correctly if I can. Like, I'm not trying to do a bad job on purpose. But if that's what it comes down to, like, I just have to do a little bit worse job to get through my days, then what am I supposed to do, you know? Yeah. Like, I'm being paid to do a job. I obviously have to do that job. But, like, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I just need to literally, like, strategize in my head how to get through my day. And just see if I can figure something out. Yeah. I think the one thing that I'm kind of scared to do, but would save me an immense amount of time, is just changing the timing of when I, like, have to bring food out. Because, like, at my job, I'm supposed to, like, bring out food at specific times. It's not like a restaurant where, like, food is made to order. It's more like we make food in batches and bring it out at certain times. And it's like, I think the only way that I could really save time is just stretching that time out a little more. Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like, again, I don't really want to give too much detail on it, but essentially my position can kind of be thought of that way, where it's like, food has to be brought out at a specific time and needs to stay out for as late as I can get it out while, you know, leaving on time. And so, like, there's like two things that I can think of to, like, make my job easier in that regard. And the thing is, though, is, like, one of those things is, like, leaving out food for longer. The issue I have with that is that we're not really supposed to do that. But, like, it's not even, like, for a health reason. It's literally, like, a quality reason. You know what I mean? Because, like, if you hold food at a certain temperature, it'll stay good kind of indefinitely. But it does start, like, drying out. Kind of becomes, like, just not as appealing. But, like, the time frame they currently have us on is, like, every 2 hours, which, in my opinion, I feel like is way too soon. Like, most of the food I make after 2 hours is still perfectly fine to eat. Like, at most, you'd probably just need to crank down the heat a little bit so it doesn't dry out as quickly. But I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, that I'm a little hesitant to just act on my own to do. Because it's not something I'm supposed to. But it would save me a lot of time and effort. Because I wouldn't feel so time constrained where I'm like, in a constant battle against the clock to, like, rotate food in and out. I think another thing I could do is maybe just, like, shift the timings of the foods literally as early as possible, including the last time I bring out food. And then just take my breaks while I'm doing, like, closing, rather than trying to take them while I'm actively working on making food. I think that's the more feasible option. The only reason I am hesitant on that is that I have gotten comments before from, like, people above my manager being like, why are we closing down this station so early? But, like, what am I supposed to do when I'm doing a 2-person job by myself and I don't want overtime on a 10.5-hour shift? Like, I want to go home. And also, like, you guys give me breaks, but I never get to take them. I could probably mention that and they would probably feel a little worse. But I'm also hesitant to say something like that just because, like, I don't want to deal with that kind of thing at all, you know? I'm not very confrontational in general. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think it's just one of those things where I'm just kind of put in a bad spot. And the only way to make my position better is to do my job literally worse. Like, I'm actually just doing a good enough job where I've actually never really been told that I've been doing a bad job. But as a result, I'm just, like, barely getting through my days. And now I feel like the only way to reclaim some of my energy is to literally do my job worse. Which kind of sucks. But, like, what am I supposed to do? You know? If they want, I could just burn out and quit before the holidays start. And then they'd be completely screwed. Man, we've actually been having a problem in our kitchen with, like, burnout, people getting sick, people having, like, emergencies. And so far, I've been, like, the only person unaffected by that. And I'm just like, guys, as soon as the kitchen calms down and everyone's here and fine, I'm gonna be next. Something's gonna happen. And I think the worst part is that my position is kind of like the position everyone hates the most in the kitchen. So, like, no one's really trained on it as well as I am. So, like, if I get sick for literally even a day, they're gonna have such a terrible time. That's also why I feel pressure. I'm like, if I'm not here for one day, these guys are gonna kill me and hang me. In Stardew Valley, of course. Yeah. I don't know, man. Maybe I just really need to adopt more of a I don't care about this job attitude. I used to do that a lot at my other jobs. But it doesn't feel good to do that just because, like, you know, I naturally actually do care about things. It's kind of hard for me to pretend that I don't care. But I don't know. Maybe I just need to do that for my own sake. Anyways, I'll figure it out. Yeah. Maybe I just need to see, like, what I can get away with and what I cannot get away with. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm not alone in kind of realizing that I need to not work as hard. I think one of the other things I think about, though, is that there are some people I work with that genuinely don't care what I do in the kitchen. Like, they don't care how much or how little I get done. But then there are other people that do notice and do care a little more. So I just have to be like, I need to do enough where the people who do care are fine. But, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just a really annoying thing. Where it's like, ideally, I would like to be able to do just a good job and not have to worry about this kind of thing. But I'm kind of forced to care about how efficient or not efficient I do everything. And how much I don't do. Yeah. I mean, I think in my case, I just literally need to not work as hard while still figuring out how to do the things I need to do. I guess, like, there's, like, certain things I have to do that take up a lot of my day. And I just need to find ways to save time on that, or maybe just not even literally do them urgently. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I do this as a joke sometimes, but, like, maybe I need to actually just start, like, not jokingly say, like, if you guys want this done, you are free to help me. Well, I don't know, because I never see him. I've seen him 3 times in the last 3 weeks. Yeah. It's, it's tough. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the best course of action is just push everything a little earlier, so that way I have break time that I can take. And then just do my closing as fast as possible, I guess. Oh, there's a skeleton nearby. That's why I can't sleep. Ouch. Yeah. I think one thing I've realized is if there is things I really need to do at work, I have to do them in like the first 3 hours I'm there. 3 or 4 hours, or I just start falling behind or just don't get it done. Just because, like, I run out of energy really fast, I think. Like, physical energy, I mean. I think that's a big problem with this kind of work, where it's like, there's a lot to do, like a lot of physical movement to do, but I can only do so much before I just start becoming sluggish or just need rest. So I always try to like front load my day as much as possible. But I also feel like that is contributing to some of my burnout as well, where I'm like, by the end of my day, I literally feel like a zombie. Because I had to like burst all of my energy in the first few hours of the day. And that's the thing, my job is time sensitive, so it's like, not the entirety of it, but a lot of my job is time sensitive, and that's the thing that frustrates me the most. If it wasn't time sensitive, this job would be really easy. Because, like, the actual action of making the food is quite trivial, to be honest. Like, especially at this point. But it's just the time constraints that make it really hard. Yeah. It's it's not a fun job. It's the position in our kitchen specifically everyone hates the most too. Because like there are other positions in the kitchen that are a lot more like you just have a big list of food to make, but it doesn't necessarily what order or what time frame you make it in, as long as you make it that day specifically. Now, the issue is that they have a lot more dishes to create. And that's where their challenge comes in, where they have a lot, or not just the amount of dishes they have to make, they also have to, like, prepare it, package it, and all that, and it's like, it's just really annoying. It's not an easy job, either. And it's more, they make a lot more complicated dishes than what I make, too. Like, mine, I can just pretty much brain dead, like, just throw everything together and just kind of get it out, but Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I really should stop ranting about this. I've spent pretty much the entire stream ranting about work instead of enjoying what I want to enjoy. Not that it wasn't needed, though. I think it was important that I vented, but like, man. Feels like I didn't even enjoy the digging today as a result of that. Yeah. It's just been frustration that's built up over the last 4 months now that I've been there. Sometimes thinking out loud can help. Yeah. I think getting different perspective helps too. Because if I just talk to my coworkers, the same ones who are doing the same exact thing as me, I'm not gonna get any different responses or like change anything and probably just burn out and quit. I mean, at least from what I can tell, my position in the kitchen is the one that has had the least amount of hiccups in terms of like getting food out and just like actually having the job done every single day. So maybe I could give myself more leeway. I just need to think of what I can do to speed up certain processes or just skip certain processes outright if I can. Ugh. Oh, hey, we're at another 100K milestone. That's awesome. Getting relatively close to 17 million. Let me take a look at the block distribution here in just a second. I wonder if we finally reached another block at 1 million. Nope, not yet. Deep Slate's climbing. It's getting close to 500,000. It's pretty cool. Yeah. There's also random things. Sorry, I just need to rant one more thing. There's also random things that slow me down in my job that are no fault of my own. that really annoy me. Like, the biggest annoyance I have is our dish area, because we have to, like, do our own dishes. And the problem with that is that a lot of people in the kitchen refuse to do their dishes as they go. And they also don't organize their dishes, so they just literally throw them in the sinks, which means I can't use them, so then I can't do my dishes as I go. And then I have to, like, do all of them at the very end of the day. And, or, I have to do some of their dishes to literally be able to do my own dishes, because then they'll... There's some people that legitimately don't do their dishes the entire day, and then leave without doing them. And I want to... Yeah. I don't understand how that's acceptable. And one of my poor coworkers, she goes out of her way to do everyone's dishes towards the end of the night because she knows if she doesn't do a bulk of them, our dish area is going to become literally unusable. Today, that kind of ended up being my job because they clogged up the dish area so bad that I literally needed to do like half an hour's worth of dishes just to literally be able to use it myself. And by the way, for reference, I have like at most an hour's worth of dishes to do throughout my entire shift, like my own dishes. Dude, they literally piled up every sink that was available, except for the sink that we used to wash our veggies. Literally unusable. Now, to be fair, not everyone does this at my job, and it's also not every day that happens. But it's happened enough where it's become a problem, and some people are certainly a lot worse at it than others. Me, personally, I almost never leave dishes. Like, the only time I leave dishes is literally if just one of my dishes end up buried under the pile, and I can't tell that it was even my dish. Well, like, any dishes that are clearly mine, like the equipment I use, or, like, dishes that only my specific area uses, like, I never leave those in there because you shouldn't, right? I don't know. Maybe I missed the memo that, like, dishes are actually not important to do, and actually we should just let them pile up. I don't know. I will not let that sink in. That sink better stay out. That is easily the thing that slows me down the most, that's out of my control on a daily basis. I literally have to reorganize the dishes and or do some of the dishes just to be able to use the dish pit area for my own dishes. And that's also probably why I can't take breaks, because if I have to spend time doing stuff like that on a daily basis or nearly daily basis, that's time I could have used for a break instead, you know? Instead, I'm using it to do other people's work for them. And then, if I want to take a break, I would just be leaving late, and then at that point, it's like, well, I'd rather just not take the break and leave on time. Even though that's terrible for me, like, health-wise. I don't know. I think it's just one of those things where, because of how long I work, every shift. Things like that really just drain me so much more than they would otherwise. Because that's the kind of stuff I have to deal with at like hour 7 of 10. And I'm just like, dude, I don't want to deal with this. Oh well. How many years have I been digging? I started this world in like spring of 2024. So I guess like 1.5. But I did take like a 5-month break at some point in the project. I should multi-account and complete Osu again. You know? I've definitely had that thought before. I think that would be a terrible idea. Because, oh my god, I would have to play 2020 and 2021 maps again, and I think that would be a war crime to subject myself to that again. Yeah, but I don't know, man. I don't think I'm gonna be doing that. I ain't looking to subject myself to that again. Not that I didn't have fun overall with completion, but I would I'm not looking to do that again. That is a once in a lifetime type project. What happened to the past world? It was a lot of things. I just kind of didn't like how I approached the digging in that world. I didn't know what I was doing. And just something about it just felt really off. The way I approached it. So I made this world and I am enjoying it a lot more. Why didn't I just switch up how I dig? I thought about it, but I also was just kind of experiencing a lot of burnout at that time. And I just kind of reached a point where I was like, I kind of want to just start over with the project and just approach it differently. To me, it felt like I wanted to do it a different way, but I felt constrained to how I did it for a lot of that world. And then I just kind of gave up on that and then took a long break and then decided to do this world. And I almost went through the same thing with this world, but I just took the break I needed, came back after like 5 months, and I've not really needed long breaks since then. It might not make too much sense from an outside perspective, but in my brain it matters. And that's all that matters when it comes to a project like this. It's how I feel about it. Love lag. Hey. You joined at a great time, Hong. I'm gonna be leaving in a few minutes.
Hey, man.
Oh.
What's up, man?
Thank you. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be live too much longer. It's really late for me, but I appreciate it either way. Hopefully, your stream was good. You know what's something I'm starting to really realize? I think I might be... Wait, that title is something I would write. Yeah, but I think something I'm really realizing is I can be kind of neurotic about things. And this kind of spills into every aspect of my life. I tried to not let it consume me, but it's hard. That's a good idea. I mean, I don't think you do engineering to be cool. I think you do it for money. And also because you might like it. Well, it's a good thing that you are perfectly normal and balanced, Tonk. You should learn how to build nukes. Raining tacos. Now, why would that happen? Camel. Wait, I should get a camel cigarette. I should start smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Dude, I would love to get into Cuban cigars. But I gotta wait until I'm like 75 or something. If you do a Cuban cigar under 75, you're doing it wrong. Well, why would you remove Georgia the country, honk? Can't believe we nuked George Washington. Oh man, I am falling asleep in my chair. I think it's starting to reach that time. Energy drink. Dude, there was a dude at my work who literally had 5 Red Bulls in like a 2-hour period, and I don't know how he didn't just blow up immediately. But yeah, I mean, it's really late for me. I should get ready for bed. I wish I had more time. I think we need to bring lead back into the gasoline. I want my leaded gasoline. It just made things better. Such a good idea, Honk. On that note, I do think it is time for me to hit the hay, as the horses say. Okay. Good night, guys. I will be back tomorrow. How hungry? Um, um,